Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you are having a very good Wednesday. Today, we are going to be talking about something called the gold salt trade and how that impacted one of the three largest um, West African empires. And that name of that empire is Ghana. We often call it a trading empire. We're going to start out today by talking about trade, which was the source of Ghana's wealth. Ghana was located between two areas that wanted to trade: North Africa and West Africa. Traders from North Africa crossed the Sahara Desert with salt, copper, and cowrie shells, which was a type of seashell that was used as money. The merchants traded these and other goods for kola nuts, hides, leather goods, ivory, sometimes slaves, and gold from the southern forests of West Africa. Then they returned to North Africa, bringing the goods from the south to markets at home. So, my question for you is, what types of goods were brought to West Africa from North Africa? When we talk about trade between North Africa and West Africa, the official name of it is called the Trans Saharan Trade. The definition of Trans Saharan trade is trade between peoples of North and South of the Sahara. My question for you is, what geographical feature lies between North and West Africa? There were two factors in the growth of trans Saharan trade. One of those was using camels across the desert, and the other was the religion of Islam that we've studied previously. Let's talk about camels in the desert. Arab traders first brought camels to the Saharan desert around 300 BCE. These animals are well suited for desert travel because a camel can drink up to 25 gallons of water at a time, allowing it to travel for several days in the desert without stopping to need to drink. Additionally, camels have double rows of eyelashes and hairy ear openings that help keep out blowing sand. The introduction of camels allowed traders to establish caravan routes across the Sahara. The spread of Islam into West Africa was another factor in the trade between North and West Africa. Muslims from the Arabian Peninsula crossed the Sahara to trade and spread their religion. In the 7th century, Muslims invaded Ghana's empire. Besides wanting to convert West Africans to Islam, Muslims hoped to control trade in West Africa. They wanted to keep the wealth for themselves. Although Ghana defeated the invaders, many Muslims settled in West African towns and became merchants. Many West Africans accepted Islam as their new religion. Time for a check for understanding. What two factors increased trade between North and West Africa across the Sahara Desert? Let's go ahead now and talk about gold and salt. Although many items were traded between North Africa and West Africa, the two goods that were most in demand were gold and salt. The North Africans wanted gold, which came from the forest region south of Ghana. The people in the forests wanted salt, which came from the Sahara. Ghana made most of its money from its taxes it enforced on the gold salt trade that passed through its lands. Ghana is right in between the rainforest where the gold is mined and the Sahara Desert where the salt is mined. Let's tell a story about the Wangara. This is the secret source of gold. Gold has long been a source of wealth in much of the world. In the time of Ghana's empire, people in Muslim lands and in Italy created coins from gold. Muslims also needed gold to purchase silk and porcelain from China, which would accept only gold in exchange. In an area known as Wangara, gold was plentiful. Wangara was located near the forests of south of Ghana, but no one except the people of Wangara knew its exact location. The Wangarians kept the locations of their gold mines secret. According to ancient stories, merchants occasionally captured a gold miner and tried to force him to reveal the location of Wangara. The miners would sacrifice their lives rather than reveal the secret. In one tale, after the capture of a miner, the Wangarians stopped trading for 3 years in order to ensure no one had discovered the Wangarians' location. To this day, no one knows for certain exactly where Wangara's mines were located. My question for you is, Why would keeping the gold mine's location a secret be so important? On the other side, we have the Tagaza, which was a village built with salt. To West Africans, salt was more precious than gold. Their culture had little use for gold except as an item for trade. However, they craved salt, and for good reason. Salt is an important aspect of a person's diet because when people and animals perspire or sweat, they lose salt in their perspiration. People who reside in hot climates like West Africa perspire a lot and must replace the salt they lose. West Africans also needed salt to preserve their food from spoiling and to give to their cattle. In addition, people enjoyed the taste. West Africans had no local source of salt. Instead, they had to obtain it from Tangaza and other places in the Sahara.
There have been times in human history when salt was equal in value to gold for good reason. Salt, such an obvious, almost mundane element, ends up being absolutely essential to the functioning of the human body. Our muscles don't work without salt. Our nerves can't transmit electricity. Ultimately, our heart will stop without salt as our blood pressure drops to zero. It's vital for human life. Historically, humans had to have salt, and we got it from the animals we ate when we were hunters. But when we started using large agricultural systems to give us plants, we no longer had salt automatically in our diet. Its value dramatically began to increase.
Salt historically was an absolutely crucial commodity. It was the first major commodity that was exchanged among civilizations. The first records that we have of trade are, in fact, moving salt from one place where they had a lot of it to places where they didn't have any of it.
Salt was not easy to find. You could either excavate it or to the sort of an evaporation method by the sea. So unless you lived by the sea or near a saltwater area where you can kind of figure that out and make use of it, you were out of luck.
And if you don't have any salt, you need to exchange something for it. And typically what you could exchange was gold if you had that. Exchanging gold pound for pound with salt.
You know, in a pre-refrigeration world, it determined everything. Before refrigeration, meat went bad quickly and could only be preserved through a very limited number of processes. Most likely it would be to cure in salt. I can't send an army across the water or great distances without provisions, and their provisions are going to go bad if they are not salted. Access to salt was like access to gunpowder. It determined whether you were powerful or not.
No salt, no life. Very simple. That's the importance of salt in humankind.
The last thing we need to talk about here is Ghana's system of taxes. Traders paid taxes to Ghana on all the goods they carried through the empire. Goods were taxed both when traders entered and left Ghana. The taxes increased Ghana's treasury and helped finance armies that protected the kingdom, which allowed the king to conquer other territories. Additionally, traders benefited because Ghana secured the trade routes against bandits who might rob the caravans.
While Europe was mired in its dark ages, Africa had several prosperous kingdoms that were flourishing due to the Sahara trade. The kingdoms of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai established a network that connected Timbuktu in the west to Cairo, Egypt, and the kingdom of Kush in the north. It even stretched across the Mediterranean Sea to Italy. These wealthy African empires were rich with gold. Men dug the gold-laden soil, and women washed and separated the gold from the dirt, and the result was known as gold dust. This gold dust was secured in the hollow quills of feathers to be safely carried to markets across the vast, boiling Sahara. Camels transported caravans, and they endured cruel heat, brutal sandstorms, lack of water, and robbery attempts. What may surprise you is what the African kingdoms wanted in exchange for their gold: salt. They lived in extremely hot conditions, which caused people to sweat a lot, and their bodies needed to replenish the salt that was lost through perspiration. The gold salt trade between the Western African kingdoms and Eastern Muslim civilizations flourished for many years. In addition to gold and salt, cotton cloth, beads, copper, dates, pottery, ivory, ostrich feathers, and cola beans were carried by caravans across the desert. The ultimate impact of the trade network, though, was in a more subtle kind of swap. They exchanged customs, foods, and ideas such as the Arabic writing system and the Islamic religion.
Okay, so to wrap up our lesson for today, I would like you to write a 4-sentence summary. How did the gold salt trade benefit Ghana? Why did they get wealthy? Because of gold and salt.